Breakfast is served.
We've just had breakfast and got dressed. I've gone with the quarantine chic today.
Like, this is the start of week 3 now in the house for us, and we haven't left.
This is Rebecca, who lives in Leeds with her son Alex. He's autistic.
I have to get boiling water, pour all the sauce off, and voila. Ravioli with all the best bits off of it.
Because of visa rules, the family is incomplete. Alex's dad, Rebecca's husband, is thousands of miles away in the Philippines.
I love you too. Yeah. Where's Alex? Alex, love you.
I don't have any escape from our problems. Don't get me wrong, I love being with Alex and spending this time with him, but it's incredibly hard.
How is that sort of reflected in Alex's behaviour?
He's getting a lot more frustrated and emotional, which means he'll hit out.
Yes!
No! No! Stop!
I don't want people to think that he's like a bad kid because he's not. It's not him. What are you doing? Is that your eye? Oh, who makes me laugh? During the day, I'm good at smiling and getting on with things, but on a night, I just feel incredibly lonely.
You know, when I hear people talk about the lockdown, there's often an implication that it might be difficult, but it's really straightforward. And obviously it isn't at all. For a lot of people, it's almost impossible, and it's also really, really damaging. And that applies to one group of people in particular. That's children and young people. But when you hear advice and orders from the people in charge at the moment, just about all of it is aimed at adults. I haven't heard any advice for kids. And their lives have been turned upside down. So the family's central to all of this. And not just in terms of parents and children. I'm also talking about grandparents. I'm talking about people perhaps parenting their parents. And for the last week, that's what we've been immersed in. That's what this film's about.
It's about 7:15. We're gonna get up.
Today we're gonna be making a lava lamp.
Today me and my brothers made this spot and put a soccer.
Alex, try please.
Tea's ready.
We've heard from an amazing number and range of families, from those with toddlers to adults unexpectedly stuck inside with their parents.
Before coronavirus happened, how long did you think you were going to be staying with your parents?
2 weeks.
Yeah. That is going to be at least 2 months, possibly 4.
Obey, locusts, chosher, darkness.
So what's your blood sugar?
15.5.
What is coronavirus?
I don't know, but I can't go outside and I miss my nanny and I love my nanny.
Cleaning up, feeding and mental stimulation continuously.
Many families are struggling to carry on working with their kids at home. Exhibit A is John, our producer.
Hi guys, I can't really do this, I'm sorry. I'm not exaggerating, I haven't left the computer yet until about 5 minutes ago. And I've been with my kids for 5 or 10 minutes and I've had 3 phone calls from work. It's been one of them. I've got to put it down, endless meetings and chat. I can't turn this off.
You're trapped in this meeting.
Now there's all this sort of kerfuffle about whether or not people go out and people's use of parks and joggers and people having social gatherings and barbecues and all of that. And what gets completely left out of that conversation, outdoor space is most important, arguably, to children and young people, and yet then they don't figure in that conversation at all.
In Spain, people are allowed to take their dogs for a walk, but they're told to keep their children inside.
This is a lifeline for us without having a proper garden. This is where the kids come to play.
have a very militant Facebook group in my town. Go home, you're killing people, why are you going out, you're going to make your mum die with her lungs filling up, like really horrendous messages about going out. So it just makes me feel really paranoid. Can I go, can't I go, what's going to happen?
I don't have much space for them to play. This is their bedroom. This is where the boys would usually play. As you can see, the gates are closed.
There's a real problem for families in overcrowded accommodation.
Now, how many bedrooms are in the flat?
Only one.
God, how many of you living in it?
6.
Whoa!
I want to have some privacy, and I don't have no privacy. It's stressful. It's just we want to play and games and that, but we can't because it's too small in the room and that.
And of course, amazing organisations that are trying to reinvent how they work with families who need help.
We normally have a team of 40 to 50 volunteers in this one site. So we've had people working individually on their own during the week. And what you can see here is 44 packs of essential kit that is ready to go out this morning.
Alright, Mark Cullen here, striker at Port Vale. Just doing today's Stay at Home challenge, little target practice.
Family Gateway is based near Newcastle. It works with vulnerable families categorised as being hard to reach.
These are the meals that we're taking to the families. Obviously got the car filled up, we've got bread in the front here, got all that.
The people the organisation employs have direct experience of the issues these families face.
There's your meal, sir. Okay, thank you.
A lot of the families I support are mentally ill, so this has big problems with the issues they face as well. One of my particular young families, which is Teresa, which I've spoke to today, her lad is really frightened because his mum's going to die.
Teresa and Morgan are part of a family that relies on Peter's help. Teresa lives with 3 of her 5 children and has physical and mental health problems, including lung disease. Morgan is autistic.
How are you doing? That's the first question. How are you?
I'm not too good at the minute, but
Right.
I'm disabled myself. I've got a disabled son. He's got it in his head that he's going to die and that his mum's going to die because of this. So he's not sleeping at all. And he's tried to self-harm himself. He's so scared he keeps coming in the bedroom, putting his hand over my mouth to make sure I'm still breathing and stuff. There seems to be no help for the kids now, like while this is going on.
And at the minute, in the middle of this crisis, just tell me what it's like, your sort of day-to-day life.
It's hard. It's just mayhem in this house.
I'm
so tired and angry during the day, lashing out. I'm not offered to give him any. I mean, he was just supposed to get medication, but I've heard nothing about that either. It just seems like everything's stopped in life.
And
so there's no way of getting help or support. I think there's only Peter from Family Gateway that helps you eat, bringing 2 hot meals a week for the family. I don't know what I would do with them.
you don't know what you do with that.
I honestly don't know what I would do without them.
When I came off the phone to Teresa today, I suppose the first thing that passed through my mind was that I keep reading about, teach your kids crafts, learn to make chocolate brownies, learn a foreign language.
Oh yeah, I know.
As if this moment is sort of full of opportunities for parents and so on, and that's true. And arguably, I'm one of those parents myself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what that misses out is that this is almost impossible for lots and lots of people, right? And there's suffering.
Definitely. I mean, people like Morgan just, he'll do his own thing in anyway, and whether it's writing paper, but he's constantly worried. But what I'm concerned about is like social and emotional issues with a lot of these children when what lockdown's causing, isn't it? I mean, a lot of these children are probably going to be quiet, not going to interact and things like that, because all that's sort of going. I mean, basically, all we can do is just hope for the best and hope things aren't going to get bad. But, I've got my reservations.
I was up every night of the week crying last week, just because it was getting really tough, and being in the house constantly is really hard. And not getting a break to go see my friends or Even just go to school. I didn't think I'd miss it, but I miss it. I don't know what's happening, like with my grades.
I've got to say, you seem amazingly cheerful considering all the stuff that's on your shoulders, the weight.
I'm just really good at hiding it. I don't want to cry on camera. It's one of those things where I've had to stay strong for my little brother, so I don't want to cry in front of someone and cause them to cry.
And what are your fears for your mum then?
I'm just scared that if she gets it, what's going to happen? Because I know firsthand, I'm scared to mention it to my brothers, but if she gets it, she could die from it. She's struggled with pneumonia in the past. She's got a lot of chest problems. I'm worried about things that I didn't think I'd worry about, especially not at my age. Like, Manty's got a newborn baby. I'm worried about that. I'm worried about Manty, who's pregnant. I think she's just had a baby. I'm not quite sure. But I'm worried about her because she hasn't really spoke to many of us. I've got an uncle who's in jail at the minute. I'm worried about him because he's in a confined space. And then I'm worried about my 18th birthday, but that's just me being worried about my 18th birthday.
Got to worry about that. You got to somehow celebrate that.
What, Mum? Yeah? Oh, right, I'm going to have to go.
Right.
Mum.
Today I feel better. Yesterday I was so down and depressed.
Why were you so down and depressed yesterday, Mum?
Because a lot of people die. I love to be alive.
Okay.
But if something happened to me, remember me always. And I know
nothing's gonna happen to you. Sorry, Mum. Okay, I think that's maybe enough for now. Maybe I'll ask you something later on as well. Okay.
I'm ready. When you want me to talk, I'm ready.
Okay.
And I love you, Wally.
Oh, Mama.
I love you so much.
Pasta for love. Come on, you need to go on your mathletics and do some maths.
I'm going to press O with them, Mummy.
Well,
is a huge undertaking.
The challenge is to get around as quick as you can.
Boris Johnson remains in intensive care in a London hospital being treated for coronavirus.
How do you feel about what is going on?
I feel sad and happy at the same time because I feel sad because I don't get to see my friends.
Why do you feel happy?
Because I get to stay at home, have a nice breakfast, see my mom, and play with my brother.
How's Mum?
she's in bed at the minute.
Is she?
Morgan's been up all night.
Oh, yeah, all right. Okay then. How's Morgan doing?
Not very good.
I've dropped some booklets off there that explain the coronavirus to him and some activity sheets in there for you, right? So if you just take them and I'll be back next week, but if you have any problems, give her a ring, right? Anything else, but some food parcels there to get you over. Okay? You take care.
To all our doctors, pharmacists,
nurses,
and all healthcare providers, thank you. We love you.
That made me feel really proud hearing everybody clapping and the nation coming together and me and the guy across the road on my street clapping anyway.
You, right? You're a key worker. It doesn't get much more key than teaching kids with special needs. I'm going to go find it. It's true.
Yeah, I'm classed as a key worker and all, they're supposed to be the people that are supporting the country, but not that long ago I was told, no, you don't earn enough, you can't have your husband here. And I know once this is all over and everything goes back to normal like it was before, we'll all be classed as unskilled, low-paid workers. No, your husband can't come here. I know you helped us as a country.
If lots and lots of people entered this crisis in a very fragile state, then the question has to be, well, why were they fragile to start with? And somehow when we emerge from this, or as we begin to emerge from it, we've got to make their lives less fragile, I suppose.
We owe a lot of people.
Who owe who, though?
Well, we owe people who are key workers like Rebecca, and who can't bring her husband over here because of how little she earns. We owe people who have been living in overcrowded accommodation all along before this happened. They're bearing the brunt of this.
I totally agree with that.
Also, above all else, maybe to add to the list, we owe young people.
The brilliant piece of music you've heard in this episode is Don't Take My Soul by Jane Weaver from her album The Silver Globe. How in the midst of this crisis is it going and your life as a musician going?
Basically, I was 3/4 of the way through recording my next studio album, so it had to stop.
How is family life for you in the midst of all this?
I mean, my kids are teenagers. You know, when this sort of lockdown started, I was kind of had a routine to make sure they didn't go through the kitchen like locusts, and they were sort of panicking at first, but then since then they have kind of calmed down somewhat, and they realise that, you know, we are, to some intents and purposes, on rations of certain things.
Are you writing songs at the moment?
I am still continuing writing songs, so probably a lot of dystopian records coming out next year.
Please keep sending us videos, please keep sending us music. This series carries on. Thanks so much for watching.